Imagine walking into an American diner and being served a plate of something called biscuits and gravy. If you are European, your mind immediately goes to digestive biscuits, maybe hobnobs or rich tea, swimming in a pool of brown meat sauce. The image is absurd. And yet, millions of Americans order this dish every morning without a second thought. The phrase biscuits and gravy is a linguistic fault line between two cultures that share a language but not a culinary dictionary. In the United Kingdom, a biscuit is a crisp, sweet-baked good designed to survive a dunk in tea. In the American South, a biscuit is a soft, savory, buttermilk leavened bread, closer to what the British call a scone, split open and smothered in a creamy, peppery, sausage-studded white gravy. Same word, radically different objects. This documentary follows 6 Europeans as they encounter the real thing for the first time. Some of them are sitting in American diners. One of them attempts to recreate the dish at home using instructions from his American girlfriend. The results range from confused to converted. But every single one of them learned something about American food, about the limits of shared language, and about how a dish that sounds like a mistake can turn out to be one of the most beloved breakfasts in the United States. We begin not in an American restaurant, but in a British kitchen. One of our subjects has decided to try biscuits and gravy at home. He has consulted his American girlfriend. He has followed her instructions. He is confident, and he's about to demonstrate in real time why cultural knowledge cannot be transmitted through a recipe card alone.
It's time to try biscuits and gravy from the US of A.
There we are. Before you start to get worried, though some of you are upset about the ice cream sandwich, I know that some of you are upset about the Kool-Aid. You all kept saying, why aren't you consulting your American girlfriend? Well, I did this time. So this time it's going to be right. I have my...
He has done his homework. He has consulted a native informant. By every reasonable standard, he has prepared properly. But what he is about to prepare is not biscuits and gravy. It is something else entirely, a dish that exists nowhere in the American culinary tradition. And the reason it exists nowhere is that the British English word gravy and the American English word gravy describe two completely different substances. In Britain, gravy is almost always brown, made from meat juices, stock, and a thickening agent like corn flour or Bisto granules. It goes on a Sunday roast. In the American South, what they call gravy in the context of this dish is a bechamel, a white sauce made from pork sausage drippings, flour, and milk, heavily seasoned with black pepper. Calling both of these things gravy is like calling both a canoe and an aircraft carrier boats. Technically true, practically useless.
I have my gravy, and I have my biscuits. So, whilst the kettle's boiling, it says here to put 4 heaped teaspoons into a jug. And people say, I can't cook. That's what the gravy looks like, by the way. So it's proper gravy.
Bisto granules. He has made a jug of Bisto. And to his credit, it does look like proper gravy. Brown, glossy, steaming. Is exactly what any British person would recognize as gravy. Is also exactly wrong.
I've gone for digestive biscuits. The original, which is like the original biscuit of England, basically. To me, to you, and everyone you love. Now, I don't know how long to dunk it for. I'm assuming that's good. Okay.
A McVitie's digestive biscuit, which is essentially a semi-sweet wheat cracker, being submerged in hot brown gravy like a tea dunking ritual. The structural integrity of the biscuit has approximately 3 seconds before it dissolves into paste. This is not a cooking failure. It is a translation failure. 2 nations, 1 word, 0 common understanding.
I don't think it's going to catch on over here, but hey, credit to you, it's...
He trails off. The sentence cannot find its ending because the taste cannot find its category in his brain. He is eating something that should not exist. Having seen what biscuits and gravy is not, let us establish what it actually is. An American biscuit is a chemically leavened bread, flour, butter or shortening, buttermilk, baking powder, and salt, cut into rounds and baked until the exterior is golden and crisp while the interior remains soft and layered. The gravy is a roux-based sauce, rendered pork sausage fat combined with flour, then loosened with milk and finished with black pepper and crumbled sausage. The dish is served hot, almost exclusively at breakfast or brunch, and it costs very little to make, which is why it became the working-class breakfast of the American South.
The highly requested biscuits and gravy. Let's see what this is all about. This is my first time trying it. It does not look very appetizing. I'm not going to lie to you, like, that doesn't look appetizing. Here we go.
Good luck.
This is the universal European first impression. The dish does not photograph well. White on beige is not a color palette that triggers appetite in most human brains. It is objectively one of the least visually appealing dishes in American cuisine. And yet...
Wait a minute.
Do you like it?
I'm not going to lie.
You like it?
It tastes like bread pudding.
Oh,
You have bread
God,
pudding?
yeah.
It tastes good.
No.
It's actually nice.
Bread pudding. He is reaching for the nearest familiar reference point in his British culinary memory and landing on comfort food. Bread pudding is soft, warm, milky, sweet. Biscuits and gravy is soft, warm, milky, savory. His brain has identified the emotional category, comfort, even if the flavor profile is completely different. This is how the human palate processes unfamiliar food, by analogy, not by analysis.
Okay, you can have that
They've
then.
got it right. They know what they're doing over here. Biscuits and potatoes is nice. Like, it's actually really
Biscuits
nice.
and gravy, you mean?
Biscuits and gravy. It's actually really good.
He cannot even remember the name of the dish seconds after eating it. He calls it biscuits and potatoes before being corrected. The cognitive load of processing something this unfamiliar is so high that short-term memory takes a hit. This is not just a meal. It is a neurological event. At a Cracker Barrel in the American South, a restaurant chain that specializes in Southern comfort food for travelers, a British woman who has lived in the United States for 6 months finally confronts the dish her followers have been demanding she try. She brings her partner Josh. What follows is the most detailed, articulate cross-examination of biscuits and gravy in this entire documentary.
Let's try biscuits and gravy for the first time. You guys have been going on at me since I moved from the UK like 6 months ago to try biscuits and gravy, and I'm at a Cracker Barrel and it came out complimentary, so now I guess I'm forced to try it.
She has been resisting this moment for half a year. The pressure came from her audience, Americans who could not believe she had lived among them for so long without trying their signature breakfast. And now the restaurant has removed her escape route by bringing the dish to the table unbidden. There is no polite way out.
My gravy that I've made at home has never looked like this, but here we go, onto a biscuit. Wait, was I supposed to cut it open? I don't know if I've done this right. I have no idea if I've done this right or if you're all going to laugh at me, but here goes. That's actually pretty good.
She has tried to make this gravy herself, and she admits her version came out like hot milk. This is not a critic approaching a dish cold. This is someone who's already grappled with the recipe, failed at it, and is now tasting the benchmark version. And even she does not know whether cut the biscuit open first. The eating ritual is as unfamiliar as the food itself. You cannot Google the etiquette of a dish you did not know existed before you move countries.
Say it. Say how it is.
Two things don't go together. It's like a breakfast muffin with gravy. It doesn't make sense. Like the gravy should be on a roast chicken or something. And it should be jam.
Josh has identified the core cultural objection in a single sentence. Gravy on a breakfast bread is a category error. For the British, the breakfast plate is built on separation. Sweet and savory items have designated zones that must not overlap. Jam belongs on toast. Gravy belongs on meat at lunch or dinner. The American biscuit violates every rule at once. It is a bread at breakfast covered in meat sauce. To a British mind, this is not creative. Is chaos.
Yeah, I gave Rory jam because I didn't want to freak him out. Being too American.
They're both nice in their own right.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say I disagree with you. But look, we're here.
She gave her child jam on his biscuit instead of gravy, a protective maternal instinct to shield a young British palate from the full force of American culinary norms. And yet, despite Josh's articulate objections, they both keep eating. The fork does not stop moving. The plate gets emptier. Not every European approaches this dish with the analytical resistance of our Cracker Barrel couple. Some walk into the restaurant already willing to be convinced, and the dish rewards that openness within seconds.
Let's get a big chunk of this. Is it bomb? Oh, this is so good. This is why I wanted to do that.
It's grossy. This is not a real word in any English dialect. It is a spontaneous linguistic invention, a collision of gross and boss and groovy that is brain assembled in real time because no existing word could contain the experience. When food breaks language, you know it has landed somewhere beyond intellectual assessment.
It's not even legal.
No. This is...
Wow. I think there's every chance we'll be moving here very soon.
Moving here. The dish is so persuasive that it has become an argument for immigration. This is not hyperbole delivered for the camera. The delivery is flat, almost stunned. She has stopped performing and started meaning it. The second speaker then offers a technical observation about the biscuit's texture, noting that the exterior remains crispy despite being drenched in gravy. This is the detail only someone truly paying attention would notice. She is not just eating. She is analyzing.
Can I get the biscuits and gravy?
Yes. Yeah.
This looks the same. Can I get a bit of egg with it?
No, just do the biscuits and gravy. That's like a classic.
Okay. Oh, it's got like a crunch to it.
The savory versus sweet distinction resurfaces. For the British palate, a biscuit is sweet by definition. It is a treat, a snack, something consumed with tea. The cognitive dissonance of a savory biscuit is the single most consistent theme across every subject in this documentary. The word biscuit carries a sweetness assumption so deeply embedded that even after tasting and enjoying the dish, subjects keep returning to the category confusion as if their brains are trying to reorganize the filing system in real time. And then there is this, the aftermath. No words, no review. The dish has won so completely that the only available response is to lie horizontally on a patio and wait for the food coma to pass. 6 Europeans from different parts of the United Kingdom. 6 first encounters with a dish that should not work on paper. And yet, every single one of them liked it. The home experiment subject who ate digestive biscuits in Bisto and quietly concluded it would not catch on is the closest we got to a negative review. And even he did not say it was bad. He said it was not for him. That is the worst this dish can do. The cultural collision at the center of this documentary is not really about food. It is about what happens when 2 countries that share a vocabulary discover they do not share a culinary grammar. The word biscuit means something radically different in London than it does in Louisiana. The word gravy triggers an entirely different mental image depending on which side of the Atlantic you were raised on. And yet, when the categories are set aside and the fork lifts to the mouth, the body knows what to do with warmth, fat, salt, and pepper. Biscuits and gravy is not clever, is not refined, is not designed to photograph well or trend on social media. Is simply one of the most honest expressions of Southern American cooking. Cheap ingredients transform through technique into something that fills the stomach and quiets the mind. Every European who tried it walked in carrying a set of expectations that had nothing to do with the dish itself. And every one of them walked out carrying something they did not have before, a direct sensory understanding of why Americans love this breakfast. That is what cross-cultural food experiences offer. Not just a new taste, a new way to understand someone else's normal.